Hello and welcome, it's Frances here. Thought I might do a quick video considering we're in actually the dark moon at the moment with the new moon in Aries coming into force here in Adelaide about midday tomorrow. So as such, it's probably a good time to talk about what this actual new moon represents and how we can utilize its energy. It's quite interesting because being in the new moon in Aries, this is the sign that sort of kicks off the whole astrological cycle for the year. And if you read the blogs or the websites or even the books on astrology, the energy of Aries is very spring-like. It's the new beginning, it's sort of rushing off where angels fear to tread, the Fool starting its journey in the tarot, which is all fine and good in the northern hemisphere as they've come into spring. The energy is beginning to rise again. But here in the southern hemisphere, we're coming into autumn, where energy is starting to retract again. And as I'm not an astrologer, I'm not trained in astrology, I've always wondered whether we need to move our astrological cycles around 6 months, like the interpretations that we do have for the wheel of the year, or the seasons, or whether they still apply to us here in the southern hemisphere as they do in the northern hemisphere. So if you are an astrologer and you have some thoughts on this matter, I would really be interested in hearing your opinions. So please just put them below in the comments. It'd be fantastic. So, new moon in Aries. And as I said, the new moons are usually manifestations, and with it being in Aries, we've got all this fiery energy. But we don't just have the moon in Aries, we have the sun in Aries. We also have Mercury, Venus, and Chiron, the wounded healer, all in Aries. So what does this actually mean? One website that I have been looking at is called Forever Conscious, and they talk about, because all these planets are lining up, our choices, our words, our thoughts, everything that we put out into the world shape our reality. So this new moon being the first sign of the astrological cycle, for all these planets also in Aries starting off the whole wheel again, sort of accelerates the influence of all these things that we're putting out, that we're projecting, our choices, our words, our thoughts. Therefore, there's a bit of a reminder that these words, thoughts and choices are powerful. So what are we really saying? And it's not only the words that we put externally, it's also the thoughts that we put internally that we are telling ourselves as well. It's just a reminder then to drop into our heart center, to speak our truth as opposed to sort of shooting from the hip, so to speak, which is a very Aries-like attitude anyway, with very fiery temperaments. It's also sort of reminding us that because this energy is very fiery anyway, and it's accelerated with all these other planets in Aries, it's a good time to sort of utilize this passion, moving forward and allowing our desires to guide us instead of being sort of hesitant and allowing our fears to rule. And considering last year, 2020, was somewhat stagnant due to the coronavirus, and we may be feeling stuck or a little bit restless, a bit like a caged animal, now is the time to start utilizing that fiery energy again to bring forward any shifts that we're wanting to make, to start putting things in motion again. And this fiery Aries energy has been likened to putting the key in the ignition as you start your car. That first click where the engine just ignites. And that's this energy that we are utilizing at the moment, or will be coming into power tomorrow lunchtime here in Adelaide. Now, I've also been drawn to pick up and do a card reading. We'll just pull a card, and the deck that I've been drawn to is a deck that I've had a number of years, but I haven't used it recently, and that's the Goddess Oracle. I've had it for probably about 20 odd years when I was really into goddess studies. Beautiful artwork, and the card, quite interesting because it's Tara. And the reason why it's interesting is that tomorrow evening, being Monday, I've decided to resurrect finally my Monday night meditations, and the first mantra we are doing is Green Tara. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Tare Swaha. So there's actually 21 Taras, but it's usually the white Tara, which is the mother energy, Mother Bodhisattva, or the green Tara that a lot of people sort of work with. So just looking at the meaning in this card, Tara is here to remind you to center. It is time to nourish wholeness by going within and strengthening your center by focusing. Turn the page. Your awareness. Let the turmoil of life go on without you. It is hard to hear your own voice in the midst of the frenzy of life. Go into the quiet. Go into the calm. And when you return, you will be stronger and more capable of dancing with what life has to offer. And that's quite interesting. Again, another interesting part is that I usually end my meditations with a recording of Sangre Rinpoche of Rest in Natural Great Peace. Now this is readily available on YouTube or other channels. You can download it. And basically he is just quoting parts of a prayer, reminding us that our minds are like a glass of muddy water, and sometimes we just need to let that muddy water sit, allowing the mud to sink to the bottom before clarity takes over. So that's quite appropriate with Tara. And also with this new moon, with all the fiery energy, sort of kick-starting things off in typical Aries fashion. But Aries don't seem to follow the distance, so we really need to keep the momentum going. But sometimes we just need to take that first step to get the wheels moving again. So as I said, full moon in Aries tomorrow lunchtime, 12 o'clock here in Adelaide. It's currently the dark moon. The dark moon energy is time for me where I just sort of pause, rest in natural great peace, still the energy, calm my thoughts, ready to start all over again. So, dark moon, new moon blessings, until we meet again.